Hi, it's Emma at the Bead Shop in Nottingham, and I'm going to show you how to make these beaded stars. I've got a metre of 1mm satin cord in gold. I've got 15 gold sparkly pony beads and 10 silver sparkly pony beads. What I'm going to do is add 10 of those 15 gold beads onto my satin cord. You can use other types of beads for this. I made one using 8mm wooden bead, which looked really nice, quite Scandi style. Did need a thinner thread though. I used Eslon for that. Can also use wire. So although I'm doing it in pony beads here, you can make it in other beads as well, but pony beads look quite good. So I'm threading 10 of these main colour beads, which in my case is gold, onto my thread. Once you've got 10 onto the cord, take one end, doesn't matter which, and you're going to take it round to the other end of the line of beads, and you're going to take the cord in the opposite direction, okay? And so what happens is when you pull the two cords, they look like this, they pull together into a circle and the threads cross over. You want to leave one tail of about 20 centimetres, which we're going to use to make our hanging loop at the end, and the other longer end is what we're going to use to add all the rest of our beads onto. So my silver beads, which are my sort of secondary colour, I'm going to take two, and I'm going to thread them onto the longer end. Now, what can you see where there's the gold bead where the thread is coming out of? You're going to skip this next bead along. We're working always in an anti-clockwise direction. And I'm going to take the thread to the next bead along, okay? Now pull the two ends quite tightly so that those two silver beads sit on the outside. Grab another two silver beads and again add it onto the long end. And we're going to do the same thing again. So the gold bead that the thread's coming out of, you skip the next one along and you go through the next one. Always working in that anti-clockwise direction. You can do it clockwise if you want to, but I'm a right-hander and for some reason I find it easier to go this way round. So I'm going to add another two silver pony beads. And we're going to do the same thing again. So there's a bead the thread's coming out of, skip the next one and go through the next bead along. I know it doesn't look much like a star at the moment, but it will, trust me. We'll go around and put some points on it next. Another two beads. And again, skip one bead and go in the next. And then the final two silver beads are going onto the long end of the thread. And this time, so there's the skipping that bead there, and I'm going to go through this one which already has the tail end coming out of it, okay? So the two, they will be crossing over the cords at this point. So pull them quite tightly so that you can see there's almost like 5 beads that sit in the middle and then all the silver ones around the outside. Now we're going to go around again anti-clockwise, and we're going to take the thread up through that silver bead, so the thread is coming out in between the two silver ones. And we're going to thread on one of our gold beads and then take the cord down the other silver bead like that, pull it tight, and we've got a little point to our star. So we're going to do that for all of the pairs going along. So we're going to take the cord through this gold bead that's next along, going in the anti-clockwise direction. You might need to pull it a little bit just to get it to go through. And it's going to go again up through that first silver pony bead. So the thread is coming out between the two silver beads. And we're going to add another gold bead on for our point. Take it down through the next one. Hey, there we go. It's beginning to look a little bit like a star at this point, which is good. So I'm going to take the cord through the gold one, up through the silver. Sometimes it is a little bit tricky. If you do struggle getting the cord through the beads, you can use a needle to do it. But to be honest, it is easier to do it with your hands. There we go, there's another point. So again, just remember to take the cord through that inner gold bead each time. That way you don't see any thread bridges in between the beads, so it all looks really neat and tidy. So there's another point. And the last one. So I've just got to take my cord through that gold one, up through the silver. There we go. One last gold bead. And you're going to take the cord down the other side. Always the last one that's difficult. There we go. Okay. So at the moment, we've got two threads kind of coming out opposite each other. Pull them really tight. Make sure at this point that all the beads are sitting neatly together and there's not any loose bits of thread. What we're going to do is take the thread around these 4 beads to make it kind of neat and tidy. So we're going to go round in a circle, again anti-clockwise. So that's, again, we're still working with that long end of thread. It's going to go back in the opposite direction for a little bit. So it's gone through the gold one, up through your silver. Then it's going to go through the gold bead, so the last gold bead that we added, again in the same direction. There we go. So you can see that thread is now coming out of the left hand side of that gold bead, and then the tail end is going to go the other way around. So this is the only time we go clockwise. It's going to go up through that silver bead, and then through that gold point bead in the opposite direction, so that when you pull it tight, you've got one thread coming out of one side of the bead and the other thread coming out of the other. This just means that the thread are coming out neatly of a point, and it looks really neat and tidy, and it hangs properly as well. Put your 2 threads together and tie them just in an overhand knot to create a hanging loop. Trim off any excess that you've got at the ends with scissors, and you've got a beaded star decoration.